What are we jamming on now, Jay? What are you jamming on in 2026 at the beach?
At the beach, chilling. Several things actually. It's been a nice gaming break. First of all, still playing some college football, but I've stopped emphasizing it. It's starting to affect my nervous system. Like I'm actually playing a game, and it doesn't feel good. Because I play competitively like all the time, whether it's a dynasty or like online matches. Like I'm almost never playing against the computer unless it's like part of the dynasty. And so like I'm reading defenses, trying to make shifts at the line. Like it's intense. And so like I'm like sweating, and I realize, this is
sweating.
Yeah, it's really affecting my nervous system while I play, and that's not fun when I'm trying.
You're
to
just pushing buttons. You shouldn't be sweating. Yeah.
It's funny too because I was watching. It just popped in my memory. I was watching the college football, one of the semifinal games last night, and dude, no lie, this is the first time this has ever happened. I'm watching Oregon and Indiana, and Indiana like gets ready to snap the ball. I see a player on defense move, and then I think, oh, if that dude moves to the left, go over top immediately. Dude moved to the left, and I'm thinking, oh, I would throw the ball. And immediately that's exactly what happened. Touchdown. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I've got to that level. I've played college football so much as a quarterback. I've got to the level where I think I can translate that now. So what that would be like,
real life situations.
Except obviously you have to physically throw the ball there and everything. But I was like, oh, finally, I feel like I've gotten to that point.
That meaningless ass component of it. Don't even sweat that part, Jeff.
I can make that throw every time. 30 yards, no problem. But
a rope, frozen rope.
But that was exciting. I'm excited about that. But at the same time, I think I'm going to chill on that, kind of de-emphasize it, play it a lot less. But in the spirit,
sports games aren't good for you. I agree.
Well, I still like competition, but it's funny that never affected me. I feel like playing the basketball games, but I never, at the same time, was never competitive at the basketball games. Like playing live or 2K, I'm playing against the computer 95% of the time. Every now and then I play a 3-on-3, but otherwise, like I'm getting smoked.
And you're missing layups 35 seconds, so how can you possibly get emotionally invested?
Like I'm not even. not even trying. But to switch it up, been playing a lot more Marvel Rivals again. I convinced Zion to play with me, and after a warm up, like we were kicking butt, man. They've recently added a few new characters, so you got Jean Grey Phoenix, which is amazing to play with. You have Gambit, and then Angela from Asgard. I actually really enjoy playing with Cloak and Dagger, though. Two characters you can swap between. With Cloak, you're doing damage, and Dagger, you're doing
That's
heals.
Cool. I mean, I don't know. I remember those literally, again, my entire understanding of the Marvel Universe is just an extension of that 162 card trading card set, the first one. And I remember Cloak and Dagger from that, so I know who you're talking about, and I know that they're like a duo, but just understanding that that's a cool implementation in a fighting, like whatever, like to have them like presented as a team. Is cool.
Yeah. And it's fun too, because I think in other games, like ESO and other games where you have the ability to hybrid heal and do damage, it's always like, you're never going to do great damage. You're never going to do great heals. You're kind of do mid each. But with this, they do a really good job at balancing. So I feel like when I can do strong damage. I can get like 5-player KO streaks. Then I can flip and like heal everybody way up like in the heat of the battle. Like it's a really, really fun combo. Like it's really fun to play. And I never thought I would like them. Like they're fun aesthetically with all the skins and everything, but they've never been like my favorite characters. There was the Hulu show years ago, which was interesting and kind of like an interesting spin on them.
On those two characters?
Yeah. It was a Cloak and Dagger show. It's you could probably pull it up on Hulu now, actually. I would check it out. But that's kind of my only real, I guess, emphasis, my experience with them before this, but a lot of fun either way. Funny enough, this morning I jumped on too, just to kind of check, like we were talking about before, just to grab some screenshots for the episode and to see what I had. And I was presented with the option of playing this new zombie mode, which Marvel Zombies as a concept, I was never excited about. Even on the television show, it's kind of like, I don't know. Like, it's not that exciting of a concept to me. But
the fuck are you talking about, the television show Marvel Zombies?
Oh my gosh. So
maybe that's a bad question.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have just not asked that question.
No. Disney on Disney now. the streaming app, there is a Marvel Zombies. It started as just like one episode of Marvel What If. So if you watch the Marvel What Ifs, which are just kind of like what if, just these alternate universe, like random happening kind of fun episodes. One of them was like, what if Marvel Zombies happened and, a zombie outbreak happened in the Marvel universe. And so, to me, that was kind of just like, whatever concept. So that's where it started. And like, from that spawned this whole mode in the game. And it's actually fun. Like it took me like a full 30 plus minutes to play through this whole mode, but like you're progressive. Like it's always fun to mow down like mobs of zombies coming at you. You know what I mean? I'm like Frank Castle and I'm just like mowing down with my machine gun. Like it's a lot of fun. It actually is really well done. So I think I'm actually going to be playing that as well because it feels a little bit like a straightforward spin-off of what Call of Duty Zombies was. And I really like playing that with the guys. So I think I'm going to be playing, like Marvel Rivals keeps doing different things and like pulling me back. Every time I think I'm going to take a break, they do something different and I'm back in again.
It's always like, it's like my tried and true barometer for whatever mainstream gaming, whatever conversation. But that Cheap Ass Gamers podcast mentioned it in what I felt kind of out of the blue in the last episode.
Oh, yeah?
And I was like, oh, that's still around, huh? Okay.
Yeah, man. They're, like I said, still releasing characters. And, like, I know that since they have released Gambit, they haven't released Rogue yet, but she's on the cover. So it's kind of like, yes, she's coming very soon. And so, yeah, they just keep as long as they're going to keep continuing to add new characters, fun, new, crazy skins, tie it to the current happenings in the comics. Because, like I said, they've done that with, like, the Krakoa era and like how that ended and things that are happening since then. So it really kind of keeps you hooked like in a really fresh way with the games, which is fun. It was unexpected. Like to me, it was kind of just like a random ass idea. Like, all right, we're just doing a Marvel fighter game. Okay. Or, let's see how this is going to be. But the fact that they just keep evolving it and adding to it like that, it's really well done, man. I'm impressed.
Okay.
But and actually keeping it in the Marvel vein, Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Have you heard of that? So I actually beat it with the kids this morning. We've been playing it for weeks. It's a multiplayer side-scrolling action beat 'em up, and just really fun. Like exactly what you think. Side-scrolling a la Final Fight, Final Fury, like all those side-scrolling. TMNT 2, the arcade game.
I'm
pretty
assuming
much like that.
Galactus Silver Surfer fucking realm things.
They do come in. They do come into play, but they're not like they're not the final boss or anything like that. But they are present. It's actually because it's Cosmic Invasion. Of course, they're involved, but then there are there's a different enemy who is kind of like the main villain, and it's not Thanos, and so that's interesting. And so you have these a random. I keep saying random. You have an amalgamation of different Marvel characters who are not just kind of like, oh, we're just going to be the X-Men or just the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like, no, you're going to have your Nova. You're going to have your Phyla Vel, which is a different take or an alternate Captain Marvel. Of course, you have like Storm, but then again, Jean Grey Phoenix is there, because she's super powerful. But then you got to have
that's kind of what they did with those
Thor,
storylines too.
Yeah, Beta Ray Bill, but then you have She-Hulk. So it's kind of like from people who have Venom, people who have also traditionally been involved in cosmic galactic kind of fights for one reason or another.
Space Knight, what the fuck were the storyline? Infinity Wars, right?
Yep, Infinity Wars too. Yeah, so it's it's a lot. It's fun. Like the characters are fun. The moves are actually varied for each character. Not that it's not just kind of like every player has. If you press X twice, they do this. It's like Storm. If you hit X 4 times, she does something completely different. Jean Grey, if you press X 4 times, absolutely nothing happens. But, if you hold X and A, she does something different. So it's actually fun the way that they not only give you different cosmetics to go for, different move sets. It actually, I don't know how to describe it. Like the interplay between the abilities and the characters is done in a fun way to kind of keep the beat 'em up try and true formula a little different, like fresh, a little different, and kind of keep it fun. Outside of those things, The thing that's probably taking the most time is Cyberpunk 2077. Finally getting back into this thanks to my wife. She was looking through the regular end of year sales and mentioned Cyberpunk, to which I told her my story of how it was currently installed for me, ready to dive back into as, after Expedition 33. So she immediately grabbed the bundle with the Idris Elba DLC, Phantom Liberty, which I was like nominated for all these awards. I think it might have won some. So we were off and away. We decided, let's just play next to each other, have our headsets on. We can talk about like what's happening. Let's just kind of game together. And dude, it's so good. Like I just started over because it had been so long since I had played my previous save. I was like 23 hours in, past that now. But, back into the story, like it's the little things like NPCs reacting to me mid dialogue. Like if they can be talking to me and we're supposed to be walking and talking, and then I'll go turn and go do something else, and they're just like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Like they're just like, "We're having a discussion here. Like, are you paying attention to me?" Like little things like that, which are completely unexpected and kind of threw me off and made me kind of focus and lock in further if I kind of spaced on something, little power babies off to the side. And I really like the vibrant, colorful world. Like, even though it's a not quite a world I want to live in, based on like the futuristic, dystopian kind of corporate ownership structure of things, but it's just really fun. And I can't say enough about it, man. Like, Courtney was like this morning. She's like, I got to get like 30 minutes in before the kids come out there because there's no way they were playing that with kids present. Like they cannot come in the room at all because you don't know what you're going to get on the screen or the dialogue. Kid walk in there and just get scarred for life. But for adults, let's play. Playground. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it still hasn't. I see it every now and again. And there's, of course, I don't know how great it is. I haven't been interested enough to look at that aspect of it, but there certainly is VR modification efforts for it. Again, whether or not they are pleasant to experience is debatable. That's often the problem with anything like that. Just because it exists does not mean it's good. But I see it all the time, and
if that was in VR,
mildly interested. Well,
dude,
it's definitely possible. It's always just a matter of how much work and how clean of an experience.
That's what I mean. Like how if it was clean and well done, like to be able to walk around in that world, like it already feels to me when you have your headset on, like so immersive just with everything that's going on. Like the fact of that being in VR, I might not live in real life. Just kidding.
You would definitely need some additional hardware, but I'm sure it's very possible. There's no question.
Yeah. Though because of that, that's been taking up a lot of time, so I've not been able to enjoy any additional VR goodness. Even though I thought about like it's like every time I've thought about like, oh, let me just grab that out and just play some VR. Courtney will walk in like, oh, let's play some Cyberpunk. It's like, all right, Cyberpunk it is. I have no problem with that. It's been fun, but I just have not been enjoying the VR as much lately as a result.
Word. Batman will be there.
Yes. I will get that Batman.
That's
what
it?
have you been doing,
Endpoint?
sir? Yeah, that is it. That has been, trust me, all the time. There's been not time for anything else.
Sounds like enough.
Yeah.
Well, we played a little bit of Battlemarked as well.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yes, Battlemarked is fun, man. Yeah. By the side note, I'm down to play any of that this afternoon or this weekend if you're around as well. Because
I can definitely play this afternoon when we get done here. Other than editing this podcast, I don't have anything to do this weekend. Substance, anyways. I got an inbox full of shit. Got a thing starting early February. It's gonna fuck with my gaming fucking life for.
Darn it, real life! How dare you get in the way of my gaming adventures? Like, don't you know we have quests?
I gotta find a way to stop having to do anything but what I want.
That's our goal, Josh. We just have to do that thing.
That's the goal, right? If this podcast is gonna be the road to that, we'd have to really make some philosophical shifts. But
good times.
Generally speaking, yes, it is definitely the goal. The big thing. I finished the forest. This behind me actually is it's like so I moved my. I think it was after I finished the game. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Because Jab and I had in our co-op game that we had started, which we haven't played much of for a while, but we went up to this like fertile. It's called the Fertile Lands, and it's just like it's kind of off because the cannibals they have like these patrol routes and shit, and like I've learned, you finish the game, you really start. I mentioned how I watch more videos and blah, 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 blah. And you learn a whole bunch of shit that you just never ascertain, probably from your own whatever exploration. And, there's a bunch of different tribes, and that's why they look different. It never occurred to me. Like, there's actually, I play that game. I'm up to like 185 hours or something on fucking Steam, wow. It says. So, and obviously that doesn't even count however much I might have played on PS4 or way back when. So over 200 hours in this game for sure. And I never noticed there's one tribe that wears, they're like CDs. They've like, cause there's like luggage everywhere. Like, there's the, I don't want to spoil it, but there's it's not the first, there's been it's a wild ass story actually. Like really learning everything of it that again, there's just no way you'd gather this playing the game. But if you like read all the lore shit, watch the videos and shit, it's fucking crazy. The how and why and whatever. But there's a lot of people that have came through that have like ended up marooned on this island. A lot of luggage everywhere and shit. So these cannibals will raid the luggage and they like just take shit out of it and like do things with it that they don't know what it is even. And like one of the tribes wears fucking these CD necklaces. And I just literally the other day in a co-op game trying to get the very last Chivo I'll talk about here in a second, killed a bunch of them and I was like, are those fucking CDs around their neck? Holy shit. It's just hilarious.
You're like, yo, is this Tupac?
Oh. Yeah, it's fucking, yeah, it is. It's like, yeah, the Bling tribe. Anyways, so there's a bunch of tribes and they work on these patrol routes and shit. So there are areas that are a little safer than others because they're kind of off the patrol routes. And this one particular area is that. Plus, it's like really, really, there's all the shit stuff. There's a bunch of like really nice resources up there. There's a lot of shit growing that's useful. Aloe, which is like one of the really sought after plants that you're trying to harvest and always have a nice fucking supply of for healing purposes. There's water, there's whatever. There's a whole bunch of shit up there that's good. And we discovered that and built our camp there in our combo game. So when I beat the game and I was like wanted to like level up on just my moment to moment whatever playing the game while I finished off the Chivos, I was like, I'm going to move my camp up there. And like you also find, there's these blueprints you can find for these crazy ass, like you can see in the picture there, the church is one of them. And that's like 300 logs or something. Like that one's only, I think, like 100 and something.
Cut down a
but
forest.
There's a top, that huge tower also right there underneath that pretty rainbow, which I've been playing this game like 150 hours and never noticed there's rainbows. And I like turn around and that's above my base the one day. I'm like, oh my God, that's beautiful. Whatever. So, these crazy ass fucking things that you can build that are like, the way they're worked into the story is, well, that's kind of spoilery too. I don't want to get into that, but you find these blueprints are super hard to fucking find and they're in a place that you wouldn't even fucking try to find. Great. You just, this has to be something that you would just fucking learn trying to find shit on the internet, in my opinion anyways. There's nothing in game that you're actually there of substance anyways. So I went out and found all those, got all the weapons that I hadn't been able to find, did all that kind of completionist things and built this fucking incredible fucking utopia camp here up in the Fertile Lands to work from and get all that done. But going back to the end game, like this game is fucking raw, man. Like the whole game is about, life is frivolous. Like the cannibals, obviously you're killing in hordes. They are stringing up and kill. There's all these dead bodies. Death is meaningless in this game, basically. So, like, it's to be expected that it's thematically raw, right?
Right.
But I got to the end of this game in that context, and like you're presented with an option, like this binary option that, because the whole purpose of the game is trying to find your kid, right? So when you find your kid, it's not
a good situation.
It's not just like, oh, Timmy's fine now. It's like there's a problem still.
Mm.
So they present you with this solution that is fucking crazy. And like, you have to complete the game the real ending where they have like made a cinematic for it. And like, that's what leads into the next game I've learned. Like that ending, the true canonical ending, you have to make a choice that is fucking crazy, dude. And I was like, I'm not doing that. Like, fuck that kid. You can't do that. Like, you say, I don't give a shit it doesn't matter. That's terrible. You cannot make that choice. And have any respect for yourself. I don't care how much you love your kid. There's just no way. You know? But whatever.
Now I want to know what the.
Oh, it's a great game, and I can tell. I'll get into like going pure multiplayer, just as like, again, trying to stack the last Chivo that's a multiplayer Chivo, and also just like trying to, because you can't, that this game behind me, I haven't played that game in forever because there's nothing left. It's not any fun to just, that camp is like impenetrable. It's just like a fucking killing alley that the cannibals try to get into this, because it's like backed up on a peninsula, so they can't get in from anywhere but like the front, unless they, every now and again, the game will cheat and spawn shit in my camp, but whatever. At this point, I can kill anything with ease between the weapons I have and just the savvy I have. And also VR is a little bit of a hack. I think I mentioned that, how you can fucking attack like without the penalty of stamina, So, there's just no challenge to it. And once I've literally got everything and built everything, there's just nothing to do. So just trying to get more out of the world, and also want that last Chivo. I played a lot of multi stuff, and you can kind of see that, like, just the loop of the game. This game is however fucking old. There's still tons of people playing in multiplayer, because it's like, just it's like cathartic. The building is like a really well done building system that is genuinely cathartic, I think. And like, I've had people come in and they're just like, you can host a game or join other games. The problem with joining other games is the host can leave at any time and you're just fucked. And anything you've done in that world is just gone. So because even though I'm just trying to get a fucking Chivo, which is like the last Chivo I need is to master the game is you gotta revive 10 players in co-op. I think I'm up to 4 or 5 or something. So I don't even, like, anything I would build in someone, it doesn't matter. Like, who cares? I'm just trying to get really Chivos. Right. But just mentally, I can't deal with it. Like, when the fucking thing just goes, and like, when the host leaves, it doesn't say like the host has left. It's like the world gets weird. Like the days start happening like super fast. So the sun is just like, woo! And like the shadows are just like going fucking crazy. It's just like a wild ass audio visual experience when the host disappears, happening? So it's just like, and you're like, and once you know that that's what it is, you're like, what the fuck, man? But like, it's almost like a dagger turn of what you're watching, of how like jarring it is, as opposed to like just, oh, the host left,
right? Or just
whatever. So I host the games, so people come into my world now just for simplicity, and so I don't get fucked over and have to join games. Because even if that happens, now you like, whatever you load into next, you start with nothing every time. Like, there's nothing. So like, it's just, you can't do anything at all of substance or fun if that's happening to you constantly. And also, you just never know what you're going to get. I have a little bit of control. I can boot people, whatever. There's just a lot of reasons why it's obviously advantageous. So, but people come in and they're just like, what are you building? Like, I just want to build. And it's like, they just want to build some shit in your thing, and they're never going to see it again, and whatever. They're just there to like do projects, and it's like that simple existence to me by players, I think, suggests to the merit and the quality of that part of the game. You know what I mean? It is just a really satisfying whatever thing.
That's fair.
So whatever. That's kind of where that's at. The last two I had were, there's that revival thing, and then there's this one, it's called, what is it, Don't Save the Forest, maybe it is, and it's cut down 1,000 trees. And I'm sure it just sounds like a lot as just a number, but dude, It's like, the idea.
Are you just like? Zzz,
oh my god! And you find a chainsaw, and it's funny. I forgot that I had the chainsaw when I was going around because it wasn't something I was like geared up for or excited about, really.
Yeah.
So I forgot that I'd had it.
You have lumberjack dreams. Why would
right? To be honest, it occurred to me. I remembered I had it well into the process, and it's not that. Especially again. If you're not, it's hard for me to gauge these things because again, I'm not at the mercy of stamina, and cutting down trees is that as well, or it uses that system as well. So the benefit of the chainsaw is probably exponentially greater if I can't just chop as fast as I want anyways, or as fast as my stupid arm can move. So maybe that's part of the lack of excitement about it. But yeah, I did. The point being, I did a lot of it without even using the chainsaw. Probably 90% of it I did. And like I would like do these long ass sessions where I am just out, wasting huge spans of the island, right? And they don't grow back. I have it set so they don't grow back as like part of the whatever difficulty settings. Yeah. So, I'm just like, and like I said, if you really roleplay it, these cannibals, the reason they're fucking hostile is because you're like, what are these assholes doing here? This guy is like fucking up shit. He's cutting down our trees. He's fucking doing a whole bunch of shit that is like fucking up our everything, like the role play about just leveling this peninsula is hilarious to me. And it actually aggroes them. They that's one of the big things that attracts enemies, trees falling. And they if they get there and they the whole map kind of swarms to it, and they're pissed. They're fucking super pissed. So I'd be out there just wasting trees, and you hear like the call of the leaders, and they do that sounds kind of like a bird, and you're like, oh fuck. I gotta kill 15 cannibals while I'm doing this already stupid project. So it was just a really funny experience, that part of it going after that. But yeah, man, I cut it. The amount, I could not believe how many trees it felt like. Like I would do long sessions and then log off, and it takes a little bit for the counter and the.
This sounds like
Chibo.
Work, Josh. Like, I can
dude, yeah, 100%. I mean, that's what most.
Worse than grinding. Where at least.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm playing that Dragon Warrior 2 right now too, and one of the Chivos in there is getting your hero to 30, and you do not need that to beat. Well, I don't know. Maybe you do need to beat the game. I don't know. I think I ended up at level 35 or something when I beat it the first time, and Roan was still shitty. The cave to Roan was still shitty, so whatever. The point being, that is also, it's the same thing. Probably more time, even, and I don't know, debatable whether more or less fun, but whatever. Just, that was such an undertaking, getting that 1,000 tree one, and yeah, there's just the last one of the 100%, to 100% the baby. Nice. And then I can move on to Sons of the Forest, finally. Although, that is a VR thing that's not clean. I downloaded that. I bought it on sale. I got it for $5, which was great, of course. And because I saw there was a VR mod for it, but it's not, clean, like the base game VR mod. So, I haven't gotten to work well yet. And it's in Unity, too, which is, a rarer game engine these days, as my fucking stock that I bought of it suggests its performance over the last couple of years. So that also is complicating too. So it's not just UEVR, and there's just less shit about it out there. So that's not even clean. And I actually saw at the Game Awards, they announced a third game for it too. And it's set in space this time. So that is interesting. But gotta get to work on that, I guess. So there's that, and then before I probably go back into the forest, though, there's a few backlog things. I want to get Half-Life Alyx done. I have been playing that. I'm pretty sure I'm in the last chapter. Great game. Still terrifying times. I almost jumped out of my shit the other night. Terrified Amy and fucking Miyagi. So I could play that one sitting down. Something's on the couch in that case. Nice. I was like, oh my fucking god! There's these fucking bug things in the in-game chapters that are come out of nowhere and fast as fuck, and they're whatever, hard and big and scary. So that's so great. I don't know. It's you can feel the age on it, and the story is very AAA studio. Just fuck off. Dad, save the whatever. It's just not the best story, but the gameplay is fucking top shelf. So that's good. I played that on Packing Game. We talked about that a little bit. I mean, that was literally the Watch Out for Fireballs podcast did an episode on it, and I was like, oh, I can tell this is fucking up my alley and a half. To the point where I didn't even finish the podcast. Like, when they got to the spoiler gate, I was like, stop. I will come back after I play it. And also got that on Sam. It was a few, $10 or something, cheap as fuck. It's very indie developer, one developer situation.
Support the indies.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a really cozy experience.
Yep.
I mean, I played it to 100%. It's not, I mean, you kind of can't not play it to 100%
to.
if you play the story. It's just like, all the Chibos are just, it's super simple. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, to explain the game setup, like, you are shown these, well, you start in just one room. It's your parents, your bedroom at your parents' house that you grew up in. Yep. And it's like, I think you are actually a child at the beginning, right? Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, you're just like, and the whole thing is you're like moving into the room and there are a bunch of boxes and you open the box and you just take things out of the box one by one and put them in places. And it's like, it should not be fun. It's work. It's like, for a lot of people, I think it definitely takes a certain type of whatever brain pan to be into it. A lot of people, I think, would look at it and be like, this is a job.
Like, what
no
are we
way.
doing?
Yeah, no way. No fucking way.
I definitely had moments of pulling it out and then kind of going through it and then like, am I having fun?
Right. Yeah.
Even then I kept coming, but then I.
Yeah, the WAF guys, even the one in particular, Cole, I think, he hates work in video. He hates games that like make him do jobs. So his big thing was the books, which I agree. It is like a reoccurring, because like and that is honestly where the game shines, is because it's an amazing job of environmental storytelling in that, there's all these, so you start as a child, so there's all these little like tchotchkes and even books. And, over the years, yes, new things come in, but there's these things that she keeps throughout her life. Yep. And I was really blown away by the emotional impact of,
because she goes
taking that one, the trip, the little Eiffel Tower thing that she gets when she takes the trip in college there. So that's there the rest of her life. And like, I was really impressed with the ability to pluck emotional strings just by the existence and through line of these little keepsakes in her life, and then they also, I guess,
like removing pictures of people when things
and like, and it's funny too, to complete certain things. There's the one where she has the bad breakup and you have to do the thing with you have to do something funny with the picture.
Yeah. I was stuck on that for a while. Like, what am I missing?
Yeah, exactly.
And then it was
for sure.
Yeah, I get it.
Don't want to look at that. Yeah. So like, yeah, it's a lot of shit like that. And like, there's, even things, because it doesn't, there's no hold handy at all to it. So hand-holdy to it at all. So like, if you don't take the time to think about it and like, whatever, you'll miss like part of the story, and it is unapologetic about letting you do that, which I love in games. So like, there's a thing, like there's a physical condition that is you're never hit over the head with, but she develops a physical condition, a medical issue that is subtly hinted at in the adult phases of her life. And like, I didn't even pick up on that until the very end of the game, basically, So yeah, this is a lot of little shit that's really well done, and the life choices she makes and shit, and like, the dichotomy of like when she moves in with the boyfriend post college that has way more dough than her, and it's like, it was amazing how like, oh wow, she is so out of place here, and like, and there's not enough. She's moving into his place, so there's not enough room for her shit. You have to like put things in like unpleasant places for like that you wouldn't want that to be, There's not enough room to hang her shit on the wall. Like, it's just like, it's like really well done job of like, just like and like, I just couldn't believe how much I was able to, 'cause it's a woman that I probably have very little in common with. And like, it was amazing how connected it was to how much I thought about me moving into my different phases of my life, the physically moving into them. You know what I mean? Yeah. College apartments and like, the first time I moved in with a girl and blah, blah, blah. Like all that shit. I couldn't believe how well I was able to emotionally connect my life to that as I played. And that, it was really fucking good job. And the WAF guys were right that it was up my alley. So yeah, just really, really good. So cannot recommend that enough. I think there's even a mobile. I told Amy, I was like, you got to play this game. Like this is, 100% certain she fucking loves that Animal Crossing type shit. Yeah. And also I think it's obvious that it's even going to be even more emotionally connective, I think, for a woman, just by nature of the fact that that's what the lead character is. So yeah. And I think I told us like there's a mobile version. You can play it on your phone, and it'd be a fine experience because it is just point and click, moving stuff around, So probably it actually might be better.
Probably might be, yeah.
Yeah, because that was definitely, there were times where I was like, God damn it with this fucking controller. Playing it on Steam with a...
I don't know. I had no issues with the controller, personally.
Because I mean, these rooms, you like have to you're trying to put things in very, you're like putting, I mean, there's minutia and a half. Like putting the socks and the underwear and the fucking drawers and shit. And like, there's a lot of like little, very precise shit that like just tapping that stupid ass stick on a controller is not perfect for. So if you could just directly point with a mouse type, a cursor type situation, I can't imagine it's not more pleasant in that regard.
I don't know.
But very good. Very, very good. Ultimately is the takeaway, I think, to be had. Played a little bit of Civ 7 again over the holidays. Amy and I got into some multiplayer situations. It was funny to me. I opened it up and like looked at our last save game. It was in April. So we hadn't played this game for like 8 months, And needless to say, there's been a million updates. I've been seeing that was kind of the catalyst for us. Like we were like, whatever, looking for something to do. My emulator got weird on 64 games for some reason. It's not emulating like a lot of the like Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey, like those like Rare and Nintendo games that are kind of those open world, they're all kind of the same format, for some reason. All those are fucking not emulating properly. All of a sudden, there's no reason for it, but that fucked up our Banjo-Kazooie game, so we were looking for something. We decided to play some Civ 7. I've been seeing all those updates, and I was like, well, let's see, if they've fixed it. I didn't think it was, I gave the whole diatribe when it first came out. I don't think the tectonic shifts are necessarily bad. They are very different. There are some frustrating things about it just because of they're taking things away from you at times, and that is not really historically what Civ has been about, Unless you're like a really war-focused Civ player, Civ is all about just building in a linear track, right. Just bigger, better, more, and Civ 7 at the end of these three eras takes shit from you and puts the kibosh on that feeling, that emotional whatever. So that I think has turned a lot of Civ players off. And there's been some I can't remember it, each, and I didn't make lists or anything, but there's definitely things, some of that they've watered down a little bit in the last 8 months. So they're listening
to the community.
Yeah, they're listening. It's still different though, very different for sure than the previous games. So they haven't totally given up on the effort.
Is there a narrative difference that like makes it so that would make sense?
Well, yes, for sure. Yeah, I mean that is what I think that is the core kernel of what they're trying to do with it. I think they were trying to make it less of just a sandbox, again, linear experience where you're just either building or destroying, right. And like they've tried to put all these. It's like any video game like this, though. You can, if you play it enough, you can see the fucking construct, and you're still just picking numbers. Ultimately, they're trying to make it story based and less about the math underneath, at least on the surface, and give it like a narrative significance, so you maybe feel a moralistic inclination to make a choice instead of just like, oh, I want more science right now. Not instead of more culture, I'm going to pick the science one. It's like, no, read it. What they want you to do is read it and like. What do you, within the role play of this civilization, think is right, or best for civilization?
Would that be like if you choose more science, like you automatically lose your your churches and your religious whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean that is
so
maybe
get lower or something else because of that.
They do make you make opportunity cost choices as well, for sure, and I think there's more of that. So that, and honestly, that's how they are hedging this idea a little bit. Is there is still a math, give and take, but there are situations still though where they give you this fucking story blurb to read, and you're like, okay, I'm presented with two choices, but it's just ultimately they can't not tell you, or people will lose their fucking minds, that like this choice gives you 300 fucking science, this choice gives you 300 culture, Right. And you don't always have like, oh, I lose this too. I mean, you do lose opportunity cost in that case of like, you're not getting, and like, that's not maybe not what we're saying, but like, it's hard to say for sure, but a lot of these are probably presented to every player as you play. You know what I mean? Like these things are like, so it's just, you're going to get all these choices, and like how you choose them is you're going to get them every time. It's not like a random event kind of, at least I don't think. Yeah. I wouldn't guess. Maybe it is. I would rather it be. I would rather not feel like, every experience is completely different, But then you have the balancing issue, and especially if you're playing multiplayer, people are going to bitch. Like there's just a lot of things about that are probably hard to implement as whatever well as it could be. But yeah, I mean, we played 2 whole games, and it is still like, can't turn this shit off. Can't turn it off. Got to keep whatever. 2 whole games in like a matter of like maybe a week, and it's just, and it's long. Those ages are long, man. It's a long ass game still. So the morphine drip is still in the game, in the gameplay, whether or not it's the exact thing maybe that you think of Civ as. Historically, it definitely still has the one more turn bullshit. She was like, we played the first game and she was pissed. She's like, you gotta be fucking cheating. She's like, I never thought about it, but like, it's like, we've been playing this game for a decade, or these games for a decade. I was like, I've never won. And I was like, well, Amy, like, you've played with me however many times that is. I was like, do you realize I probably have 10,000 hours in Civ in my life? Like, this shit is like, you just cannot imagine how much more I see the Matrix every time this game turns on. Like, it's just not fair, the experience differential. So that's
you guys
probably
can't co-op? Why. Like, play co-op instead of...
I mean, you could, but that wouldn't be any fun. I mean, not like, well, as like, 2 different civilizations, you could, yeah, and we kind of do. I'm not just like fucking, I don't just like roll in and level a civilization or anything. No, I don't do that. But like, it's like, the wonders, like, yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't really, I for the most part, it's funny, the past 2 games, I've kind of got more, maybe that's a thing too in this new game. You get like, the diplomacy aspect of it is very different, and you're not going to be able to maintain peace with everyone. There's like a really heavy dependence on like ideological differences, and that forcing
conflict,
creating conflict between ideologically different civilizations that you kind of can't avoid, and I mean, even though I don't want to, I'd rather just build, but if you fucking roll in and just start attacking me because you don't like the fact that I don't want to fucking be a heretic fucking religious or civilization, like, I'm gonna turn you into a parking lot. So like that, like, that has happened, and I have like went on major military campaigns in both of these last 2 games, so that's not necessarily indicative of my whatever. But even normally, yeah, like we're usually like, fighting over the wonders, and like I'm really heavy on, I want the wonders. And this game, like, that's the thing too, like wonders have been kind of changed too. There's so many now. It's not as, I don't know, they're not as OP, like to get wonders. There's so many, and they're so varied, and I think they're kind of nerfed in their benefits for that reason, because there's the sheer number more of them that it maybe creates a little bit more of a level playing field. But historically, like I very focus on wonders because they're over. And I just know that like, oh, there's tech tree things that are going to give me advantages for building one. Like I know all that shit. So like she doesn't know that thing. A lot of those things in the comparatively limited amount of time, But yeah, the whole point being, this last game she won. She won for the first time in like a decade of playing it, and yeah, she was.
I wonder if she was reading strategies.
Oh, she was. I could see her over there on her phone. I could see her over there on her phone. Yeah, she's like Yeah, 100%.
Okay. I thought we wwere just playing around, Josh.
Exactly right. Yeah, next game, shit's gonna get serious. Yeah. Love it. Yeah. So yeah, I played that a little bit of the holidays, and as far as again getting the forest out of the way, other than that one Chivo backlog shit, I want to finish off Half-Life Alyx, get that Arcane Age game done, and then my backlog will be kind of washed, and I can start looking at new things. I actually clocked. I've had Satisfactory. Are you familiar with that?
No. What is that?
It is I think it's an indie developer, but it's a very well revered. I think it's won a lot of awards. It's kind of like, at least to my understanding, I haven't even played it yet, and I don't, I'm not watching any videos. I heard Wolf actually did an episode on it as well. I think maybe that's where I got wind of it, but it's like kind of like a puzzler, like a first person puzzler builder kind of game. It's like a futuristic factory thing, I think, that you like oversee and build and whatever, and there's like a narrative storyline built into that kind of system, which is, again, it's the forest, basically just a different setting is kind of what it sounds like. But it's very well revered. I can tell it's fucking exactly my thing.
All I heard is you're a factory worker. I'm like, huh?
Not a worker. You are like,
or a factory manager. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, that's all any of these. The forest is. You're a forest fucking encampment manager is all that is, And Subnautica, you're just a fucking you're a sea base manager that has like you trying to get off the planet. Also, there's like the moment to moment gameplay of it is just managing some building system, in all these games. Fallout 4, same thing. You're building either your base or your village. You go out and you do missions too. But you're just accumulating shit to take back. All these games are that, Jay. I don't know if I need to explain that to you, but this is another one of those, very well revered. I didn't know that there was a VR thing. I actively thought there wasn't actually. I thought I had done research and not found one. And I saw a post on Twitter from one of the VR whatever, the websites do news and shit. And they were like teasing actually Zelda Breath of the Wild coming out in VR.
Really?
Which I can't believe I didn't even have my notes that happened. I tried to do it. I can't get it to work. It's very frustrating. There was so many things I had to do. And I felt like I got past so many of the hurdles. And then it won't, like the very last thing, it won't run. And it's really depressing. Sad. But they were teasing that, and they know the magnitude of this happening. Any Nintendo game, let alone Zelda. Any major Nintendo game, let alone Zelda. So they were like teasing it as like some major VR shit's happening, and I just commented like, Satisfactory, right? And they write back, they're like, oh, Satisfactory's got a fucking dope ass, like, it's like UEVR plus someone's done, kind of like with Subnautica, how like I told you have like, you can UEVR anything, but that's what Sons of the Forest problem is. It's like all fucked up still, or RoboCop rather, it kind of worked and then it's not working now. And I've troubleshot it and it's just a pain in the ass. But someone's like done the extra work to make it like kind of a turnkey VR mod for Satisfactory, I guess. And it's like been updated a few times even. So I guess that exists. And they're like, that exists, asshole. And I was like, oh my God. So now that I think is probably going to be after I get this backlog cleaned out. That will be the next thing.
Nice.
So that's the gaming shit. Chivo Hunt. I went back and polished off Karnoff. So the game was good enough to get me to go back and do that. Softcore. Finished the last few Chivos I needed. The perfect run on stage 4 and the 2 T-Rex squabs. I went back and did those clean to finish that off. Dragon Warrior 2 still going on. Actually, the worst thing for an anal retentive BB stacker like me ever. So I'm playing, Dragon Warrior 2, however many hours goes into that, right? I mean, I'm like, right now, I'm basically about to head to Rome. That's where I'm at. And so, I'm in like the last 15, 20%, So in the like early previous 20%, so I would say I'm about 60% through the game. For whatever reason, it was probably playing one of those Karnov or something, toggling the hardcore mode off in retro arc. For retro achievements, you can toggle that. So like whether or not you can use save states, basically. I have it set so when I close it, it automatically toggles back to hardcore. So I don't have this happen. But for some reason or another, that didn't work out. And I turn on Dragon Warrior, and it was the heal all spell. So like all the every spell you get for every new time you get it, there's some redundancy in the spells between the princess and the prince of Cannock. But every time you get a new spell, that's one of the Chivos, right? You can obviously only get that spell once. You can't fix that, once you do it. And you also, I can't even like hit reset because the Chivo it's queued. Like once you do the Chivo once, it doesn't matter your save game. It's like if you've ever done it playing the game, unless you reset all the Chivos for a game manually, the box is checked. It was on softcore mode. So basically, I have one Chivo in this grand fucking Chivo fucking set that's gonna be softcore unless I can figure and it makes me, dude, I am so embarrassed that I'm going to do this. And like, I don't, the email's not written yet, of course, but like, I'm going to send an email to these fucking people and like, listen, I know this is so pathetic that I'm asking you to do this, that it matters to me, that I'm taking time out of your life, that I'm taking time out of my life. My God. I was like, but look, I was like, it's obvious that the other 72 of 73 Chivos are hardcore mode. This one meaningless spell in the middle of the game, heal all. Like, I clearly am not cheating and trying to circumvent the hardcore Chivo thing, I was like, can you please switch it over to hardcore so I can feel good about myself? So I'm going to ask them for this. And once I'm all done, I'm actually going to email them and ask them to try to switch it over, which makes me so sad inside that that's a plan of mine. But yeah, it was hilarious how debilitating of a moment it was. Like, I saw it pop up and it says there's like a little message. And it might not even been that. It's just like, whenever I noticed it, it was just like my heart dropping. Like, oh my God, there's no way to fix that. That's such a dumb thing to do to myself. So yeah, super fucking stupid. So there's that. And then the last day on Christmas Eve and day, I got a hair at my ass to start digging on some 2600 Chivos. And I ended up mastering Ghostbusters boxing and trying to finish Keystone Capers and Battlezone. Ghostbusters, dude. Ghostbusters is a fucking great Atari game. I've always thought that. Dude. I have always thought that 2600 game was very good. Which is funny, because I could never get anywhere on OG hardware because it has this requirement where you need to switch the difficulty switches real time while playing the game. Like, basically, when Stay Puft attacks, you buy this bait from the shop, right?
Right.
And when Stay Puft attacks, you need to hit the difficulty switch a certain way on the back of the console to activate the bait, because you obviously only have one button, and you need to use that button to go into the buildings on the map when you are playing. So the only way to ward off Stay Puft, which late game, he's going to come multiple times, right? And when he does that, if you don't use the bait and get him to fuck off before he stomps on a bunch of buildings, they take $2,000 from you each time. So basically, I've never beaten the game because I can't do that fast enough. Because you don't know when it's going to happen, and the back of as a kid, I just couldn't do it. Whatever the reason, I couldn't fucking do it. So I never got anywhere, but I still thought it was a great fucking game. And now, clearly, you can just map that as a button on your controller. So now when Stay Puft comes, I was able to just beep, beep, hit the button, and like, boop, he fucks off, and then you make $2,000, instead of them taking it from you. So like, I was able to fucking cook the game, basically. I mean, the first time I got to the end of it, where Stay Puft is jumping back and forth. You got to run underneath his legs is the end game thing. So like you have 3 Ghostbusters and you got to get 2 of them through to succeed at that. And like I got the first one, missed the second one, got the third one, beat the game the first time. So I was able to master that, which was really satisfying. But yeah, I mean, it's a really, for like being on the 2600, it is a really complex fucking business simulation. Of running and stuff, starting a Ghostbusting business and fucking and running it in a archaic ass video game context. It's a really fucking good game. It's so much better than the NES one. The NES one is fucking broke. The first Ghostbusters, well, both of them. Ghostbusters 2 sucks also for different reasons, but going up those stairs and shit and it sucks ass on the NES game as the end game sequence. So yeah, this one is better than that, I think.
Dude, I played the 2600 one so much, obviously having a 2600 so much. I think like my aunt played with me most of the time, like, because I'm trying to think, it obviously would have been before my little brother, not him. Yeah, so I'm not sure if I ever beat it. I can't imagine having beat it.
I mean, dude,
honestly,
clearly sitting there as an adult playing it, and you can look at it, whatever. Thinking about giving this cart to a 7-year-old and like no parent to help them is insane. It's like, because it's a fucking business simulation. And like the idea that you have to like make all these responsible decisions, make good purchases, not waste money on things that you don't need, and like blah 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 blah. And again, working out the buttons on the back, the switches in the back, all of it is like such a complex thing. It's the same reason I never got anywhere in Raiders of the Lost Ark, Sword Quest, none of those games. Like they were fascinating to me. Like I could, like the complexity was so intriguing to me. I had the curiosity, but I did not have the toolbox to actually navigate them in any way, shape, or form.
Actually, it's funny. It's been so long since I've looked at this game. Like, I may have beat the game, because I do remember having to run under him.
Okay, then yeah, that's the end thing.
So maybe
that's it. And it's like, I was actually surprised to learn that it just loops, because one of the Chivos was having 9 traps, right? And when you start the game anew, you don't have enough money to buy 9 traps. Yeah. Like, you just don't have enough money. So I was playing the game, I was like, how the fuck do you get that? Even if you buy all traps at the start, you don't have enough. It's because when the game loops, you keep your money. So that's how you like get really a high ass amount of money, is when you loop the game, you have more money going back to that store.
Right.
And you can buy that many traps at that time. So yeah, really. And that changes the game too. It was amazing how much whatever is, because it makes the game easier, because you don't run out of traps as fast. You can go back, So it's just like, I was surprised at again how much, more play value there is to it if you're able to beat it and do that Stay Puft shit. It's not just such a short game loop in that case. So that also is good and impressive for 2600 games that don't necessarily have that. So yeah, just I couldn't understand it in full, being able to fix the dumbass technical problem, like, incredibly enjoyable experience, and I was so satisfied with it. And I, like, vindicated this, like, bubbling feeling I thought I had from childhood, because a lot of people talk shit about it and say it's like, because it's not even a Ghostbusters game, it's a business simulator, they, like, just slap the Ghostbusters IP on, kind of, David Crane did. So a lot of people talk shit about that game, and they're fucking wrong.
As a kid, I liked it as a kid, so whatever.
So last thing, then we can get on with our lives here, is the X-Men quest, Jay, that you have now joined. What did you, so you read 287, you sent me the cover for that. How much of the, so ended up getting up to, actually, last night, I'm like right at the cusp of Fatal Attractions. I read 303 last night, which is another Scott Lobdell banger, actually, as far as the writing goes, that we can talk about. But yeah, 303 on Uncanny, and I think 23. It's like July.
Oh, you're 23. I think I looked up to like 17 on.
Well, that was I have read more obviously since I sent that, but the gist is in there. So yeah, on the Uncanny side, 288 to 294 deals with this Colossus's long lost brother thing. He gets kind of deranged and breaks bad, and that leads.
A weird storyline to me.
It is. Well, again, there's a lot of stuff happening in this era that I can't believe was going on right before Fatal Attractions, when my like mental remembrance of reading X-Men comics kind of begins as a kid-ish. I wasn't even that young. I was like fucking 12 or 13 when this was happening, when I really got into them. But yeah, super weird, because it leads into, he essentially starts a suicide cult. He turns the Morlocks into a suicide cult, and Callisto comes back, and like, I don't even remember this happening. Crazy. Maybe it didn't happen in the X-Men comics. There's a very good chance that it could have been in one of the other books that I wasn't reading when it happened. But Callisto, I guess, like, got pretty somehow.
Yeah.
She like
Callisto was like out.
Yeah. Okay. She like somehow was able to not be ugly anymore, and that's like the whole shtick of the Morlocks is they're like physically unable to participate in society because of either disfigurements or just whatever
because
about
they're
them
mutant. Yeah, because of their mutant ability. Instead of just like, hey, I'm Storm, I can now control weather, but I'm beautiful. It's like, I'm a mutant and I have like 5 eyes, and society hates me, so
or half my face is fucking dripping down. Right.
So we're living underneath the ground together, like, and Callisto was like their leader. And she got pretty, and so she said, "Fuck this! Like, I'm out. Like, I'm living amongst
right,
normal
which
society.
is hilarious,
right?
You know, because her whole thing was like there was like the early Morlock stories were like all built on like this honor thing. Like the whole like the Storm became like they had to like fight, and there was like this honor, like Storm and Callisto, fought because some like honor system bullshit, and the idea that Callisto would just like flip her script in a fucking heartbeat the second she doesn't have the problem that the entire organization is founded upon is a hilarious turncoat situation.
But also, like, it kind of makes sense when you think of like even X-Men and comics over the years, like some of the X-Men, like Beast and even Rogue and others who've just been like toyed with the idea of like, I wish I could take this mutant, like this serum that humans are creating to get rid of my mutant ability, because I just really, or Mystique, somebody who just like, I really hate the way it
manifests.
Yeah, how this manifests, and I wish I could get rid of it, when others like Magneto would be like, how dare you,
right,
be proud of it. So it kind of makes sense that there's Morlocks, same thing.
Yep.
You just never know underneath all that how people.
Yeah, the idealistic undercurrents of all of it's always great. That's the thing that makes X-Men what it is. We've talked about that a million times. It's just the moment to moment, like their ability to tie it to characters and their ability to like make that. I don't know if realistic is the right word, but their ability to like really tie it into like a comic book storyline is sometimes hilarious. This is an instance of that, I think. But whatever. She comes back. She's pretty now. Or she is not pretty now after she had been, and she's pissed. She thinks, and I wasn't even able to really gather why, but she blames Professor X and or the X-Men, so she's trying to get back at them for that, and she kind of like, that's tied in with the Colossus brother thing, and kind of becoming the suicide cult, and yada yada yada. He ends up flooding, his power, Colossus' brother, is like able to somehow, I think he can like manipulate physical objects in some way, shape, or form, whatever. But he's able to like essentially rip the fucking plug out of a water pipe in the East River sewers that the Morlocks live in, and flood them. And he just just kills them all. Like,
that's crazy, man. Yeah,
it's not. They don't collectively decide it as a group. He just fucking does it, and like. It's the first time. I have a few talking points on this, but it's the first time, and I actually should go back and see who's writing there and see if Scott's there yet. But it's the first time where I was like, not to the extreme that I'll talk about for these other two issues that were really heavy in this, but like it was the first time I was like, felt like a little bit of an emotional twing. I was like, that's fucked up. Like most of everything I've read up until that point. 280 something issues. This is like, who gives a fuck? Like, it's all just really bad writing and really comic booky, and I'm not able to root it in any real human emotion at all. But that was the first time where I was like, they did a good enough job of making that feel real, where I was somewhat emotionally affected by it. So that was obviously a positive to feel that way. And then here we have Forge gives up on Storm. They had like their relationship had been budding forever. That had been like a thing that had been kind of cooking. Storm's like fucking super independent woman, can't fucking, not gonna do it kind of thing. That's always like the problem. Forge is like head over heels, let's do it. And Storm's always whatever, my duty, this and that, all this bullshit. So he ends up just being like, well, fuck you then, fine. You're never gonna do it. You're never gonna leave. You're never gonna be able to. Like, yeah, that's. I did think that
how it's done though, because. He asks her and then doesn't give her the opportunity to act.
Right, I was gonna say, yeah, the actual
unless her not answering immediately was like the telling thing.
Well, just the general sense of like his choice being that you have to leave. Like he wants to leave and get out of this game. Basically, he wants to leave the game, and yeah, he basically, on top of making that own personal major life choice, just tells her, like, now or never, you got to do it too. And, like, she doesn't even say no. Yeah. Right? Yeah. She doesn't even say no. She just doesn't immediately say yes, basically. And he's like, well, fuck you then. And, and fucking leaves. And, yeah.
I never liked their relationship anyway, so I was just like, whatever.
No.
Like,
Forge in general, man, he kind of...
He's whack to me.
Yeah,
like,
he kind of
his power, yes, it's useful. Don't get me wrong. But as a character,
I can't believe how important it seems to be in these last 30 issues.
That's what I mean. Like,
to me, Forge was like, I always thought of Forge as like this ancillary, meaningless ass character. And when he kept popping up in the first 200 something issues, I was like, God, fuck, this guy, what is he still here for? He's meaningless.
That's what I mean. His power is useful. They made his power useful, but I just don't like him. Like, as a character, there's never been a reason. He's never done anything. There's never been anything about him that's drawn me to him to be like, ooh, wow, right. Forge.
Well, cool. Honestly, part of that
off for some reason.
Part of that is I don't think they've ever done anything to develop his character. He has honestly been the antithesis of the Bechdel test, or the opposite of the Bechdel test, basically, which is like, you know, the film TED. Are you familiar with this? Yeah, the film. So, like, yeah, basically, in a scene in a movie, if you're unfamiliar as a listener, if you look at a scene in a movie or a movie in general, and like basically, do the female characters, do they stand on their own, or are they just a function of the male characters? In that they either serve the storyline for the male character, or they make their decisions as a function of the male's storyline. Like, or are they making independent decisions for their own interesting storyline benefit? You know, is kind of maybe probably a poor way of describing it. But he's basically the opposite of that. Is like he has no actual identity. He's just this love interest device that allows Storm to be this uber independent. I don't have to be whatever.
I was over it.
Yeah.
I was over it.
And it's funny too, like it's funny Bishop tries to swoop in low key as fuck the second Forge is out of the picture on that.
Right? Like, hey,
there's a lot of that.
Like, I liked Bishop too, so to me, like, I really liked, like, as a young African American, like, I really liked Bishop. He was cool. Like, I like his appearance and all that. So, like, I really enjoyed this time in the comics, and so I'm like, hell yeah, swoop in there.
I always thought
around, then hey,
yeah. To me, I mean, does he go away? He goes away at Fatal Attractions or something, doesn't he? Because I feel like to me, he was just a dude from the cartoon. In my mind, he was not like a big part of the comics when I think of it. And yeah, he is like the crux kind of
no, he comes and goes, man. He's there from here. Like, it's just, it depends on like what writer, what story arc you're using. Right, you know what I mean? But otherwise, yeah, like he's.
Yeah, it's a huge part of what's going on now.
Like they said, you're officially an X-Man now. You know, even though he's struggling with what that means. Like, they make him cooler, like in other variations and future things. Like,
no, he's definitely cool. Like the little battles with Gambit and shit. Yeah, he's definitely they sell him as a badass for sure. And then 293. Well, this is like the lead into Executioner's Song, which Executioner's Song I told you is like I collected them. I maybe never read them. It was just like a collection thing that I started after because I was reading the comics after this, and I was like that happened right before, and there was like it's a 12-part series, and so I was trying to gather them all. I remember, but I didn't remember the storyline of it. And 293 kind of is leading into that. When that Morlock shit is going on, Archangel goes back to the site where the Reavers crucified him, you know? And he's having that little fucking introspective, dark-ass place that Jean Grey kind of rips him out of. And, yeah, I was expecting that would be, like, essentially the lead-in, knowing that Apocalypse is such a big part of the Executioner's Song. I assumed that was, like, kind of the key to getting into that. And honestly, I wouldn't say it really manifested in that way. There is like the end of Executioner's Song is this Archangel Apocalypse moment that like it's like this moment where he was crucified gets us into it, and you feel like the whole thing's going to be about that, and it isn't really.
It's not.
Yeah, but they do still have the end moment end up being kind of what you thought it would all lead to, even though the everything between is not really connective in my opinion. He is, the whole time Executioner's Song is going on, he is just kind of muttering to himself how he's going to kill Apocalypse, you know, and the end moment in Executioner's Song is him making that moralistic choice that like, no, I'm not going to stoop to your level. I am better than this. I'm not what you wanted, blah, 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 you know. So that is there, but I didn't feel like it was all about that. Like it was like this, like the two endpoints kind of suggest it should have been, you know. But yeah, that does fire up, and then that is a lot of wild shit. You got Mr. Sinister, you got Apocalypse shit, you got Cable supposedly popping a cap on Professor X, and Cyclops and Jean getting human trafficked by Mr. Sinister. And then, like, dude, when Apocalypse flipped the script and fucking started helping him out, I was floored. I could not believe that was happening. Like, that was inconceivable to me. And, like, you know, I don't have, like, my knowledge of that, of Apocalypse's existence is kind of just that Four Horsemen thing. And, like,
oh, okay.
yeah, I didn't have maybe like a fully fleshed out idea of what he meant to the story universe, but I knew he was like unequivocally bad. And like the idea that he would kind of fucking just be like, you know what? Fine. I'll help you. It's going to be on my terms. You know, I'm going to do it my way, but I am going to help you. And honestly, I'm probably your only solution here. You know, it was really interesting and surprising to me. So, I didn't see that coming, I guess, is maybe the point, and that was kind of impressive that they were able to do that.
I like that because, you know, Apocalypse has always been this anti-hero. Like, yes, like if you just watched shitty movies like X-Men Apocalypse, you know, like, or whatever it was called, that he was the main villain, like he's just a villain. Whereas like often you'll see him as this, I'm on the side in Krakoa era, like I'm with the mutants, I'm with, you know, for the greater.
Well, yes, he's like the uber mutant, basically.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
that's why it's interesting when you learn that he's more complex than kind of just standard bad guy, you know,
for sure.
With bad evil aims.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, that Executioner Song shit comes to a head and reveals that Cable is just a Temu version of the actual big baddie here, Strife. And both are genetic offshoots of Cyclops and Jean Grey, which I always kind of knew that Cable, there was something about like in that vein.
Like he's supposed to be their son, supposedly.
Right.
But
that changes. That's not how it ends up manifesting. The end of it is, you know, basically Cable sacrificing himself to also take out Strife. And he makes Cyclops make that decision, basically. Like, do the thing that actually kills him, even though Cyclops kills them both, even though Cyclops knows that they are his kids. So he basically forces Cyclops to make this ultra fucking difficult decision. Da-da-da-da-da. And I can see, that's still, even at 303, that's kind of, he's back in the cabin in fucking Alaska with his parents or whatever, like, talking through that right now, where I'm at. So I can tell that that's not a sailed ship entirely. There's something else is going to come out of that. Obviously Cable's got to come back. I can see him on the cover of some of these Fatal Attraction things. So Cable's about to come back one way or another. I don't know how that's going to happen, but that clearly wasn't actually final. I'm guessing probably Strife isn't either. So we shall see. But that all leads to the biggest, to me, most impressive thing about this whole fucking read so far. This epic quest is the Executioner's Song End. X-Men Uncanny 297 is the one. It's a lot. It's kind of just like a breath issue where we've come out of that big thing. You have Rogue and Gambit, their relationship, kind of the difficulties of like not being able to physically touch, but Gambit's still aggressively going after her, and she's pissed off because basically just sexually frustrated that she can't accept the
relationship issue. That's
right, precisely, and whatever. That's that I know is always the thing that was in the cartoons and shit as well. But that's going on. It's kind of like a much less important thing, or at least interesting thing in my opinion. But the big thing going on in that issue is Jubilee and Professor X are kind of spending the day together. And the Executioner Song crux is that Professor X has this techno whatever virus that has him on the brink of death that comes out of, I think, Strife. Yeah. Or whatever, Strife posing as Cable, however it fucking happened. That's what he's dealing with that. And coming out of that, he's able to walk again for whatever reason. Like something about that technovirus gave him the ability to walk again. So he's still walking right now. And he's out literally in the yard of the mansion, barefoot, just feeling the grass on his feet.
Looking strong, too. They got him.
Right, yeah. They have superhero shot. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So Jubilee bumps into him while he's doing this. And they do a really good, even that, like the setup of it. So, whatever. This is probably high level, one, obvious, but two, like good storytelling gives you these like little tangible things. You're able to connect to these little moments, and like comics do a very bad job of that. It's just superheroes blowing shit up, whatever. Generally speaking, comics do a very bad job of storytelling in like putting you in the place of these things, because how can you relate to a fucking superhero? So, it's probably not even really a realistic goal in a lot of cases. But that's kind of the thing is, that's why this is such a great issue, is Professor X is out having this very human moment where he is, and they like give you the tactileness of the grass, feeling the grass on his feet and the ability to walk again. And he's talking to Jubilee and just kind of explaining that like he knows that this is a temporary thing. Mara, whatever, McTaggart, the Dr. Banshee's wife, explained to him that this is going to be a finite window and a relatively short one. So he's out just enjoying the last moments of this, the ability to walk again and being able to feel the grass on his feet and yada, yada. And him and Jubilee start talking about this, and he kind of explains that a little bit. That's like a really great moment of him trying to just explain to her how like, yes, like I've done all these things. There's all these things about my life that I love, but I would trade it all to be able to walk again, because it's just such a fucking, to be able to take care of yourself. And like, that's so relatable that like the idea, one of my biggest fears probably is that the idea of like not being able to wash my own ass, take care of myself is like a terrifying thought, and having to rely on someone else and not be able to do simple, basic human life things is a really big fear of mine. So maybe that's why this is an impactful thing too. But like, he's conveying that to Jubilee, who's very young. So like, there's that dynamic too of like her not even being able to understand like the finality of life and and that's all baked into there really well. And she ends up convincing him to like just like go out and rollerblade with her and shit. So she puts him in rollerblades, and like this is like a little bit kind of goofy at times, but that's kind of the goal, is like getting a fish out of water feel on Professor X, this character who is normally like very buttoned up and leadery and da-da-da. So she's got him, like she pushes him into the water and shit and like all this stuff. And I'm kind of choking up now. I'm not just like thinking about getting to the end of it. But so that happens, and the day's winding down, sun's kind of setting, and they're having whatever little conversation they're having that's still kind of in the same button. And I forget what he was trying to instill in her. I can't remember the lesson he was necessarily teaching her, but whatever. They finish talking, and he's like, I'm going to head back in now. I think he's like planning to take a bath or something, something like that. And she's watching him go. It's sunset, and she's just thinking of like, I hope he can make it. I hope that, just like, she's literally asking God, like, just let the motherfucker walk back in on his own. He deserves that. And she's watching him, and she's fucking, it's silhouetted and shit. It's so well done visually. And, he fucking drops, and she has to run up and help him back in. And it was like, I was like crying now, obviously. So clearly when I was reading, I was crying. I was like, I can't, I can't believe how well that was done. I cannot believe this dumbass comic book has me in a way like this. It was such a good job. So yeah, I can't believe I haven't thought to do that. I gotta see when that writer starts. Again, it's Scott Lobdell.
Oh man, are you kidding me? That's one of the reasons I knew his name. Like this whole
really, I'd never heard that name. I mean, I know a lot of the, I know fucking Chris, whatever. I know like a lot of the big X book guy names. So that's the thing too, that it was surprising to me that I had never heard that name. Yeah. Again, the era, he's clearly writing Fatal Attractions and the lead up to it too. So all the more reason I can't believe I didn't know it. But yeah, really fucking good. An incredible issue, an incredible comic book that I wonder whether you could read it out of context. Like I wonder how much of its impactfulness is born in the fact that I've read the 300 issues prior to that. You know what I mean? Like really in succession. And I just wonder if like you could give that to someone and be like, just read this, and whether it would have the, I doubt it.
Probably
obviously.
Not. No. Yeah. Cause it impacted me, but I didn't read all 300 straight. You know what I mean? I was reading from, I don't know, 150 or whatever it was forward, 175 forward, kind of a thing. And yeah, it's big, especially if what it's been, what the journey he's been on.
Right.
And you can,
and that's the thing too, though, is that like I've said multiple times, like I thought he's kind of a dickhead. I thought he was kind of like he was not endearing himself to me throughout this process. So I thought it all that more impressive that they were able to generate that. Yeah. Because it wasn't like I was like already fucking in his corner or something. I thought he was like kind of like done a shitty job in many ways and was a dickhead in so many others. So yeah, I don't know, really fucking impressive. So that's the uncanny side. Like I said, I'm up to 303, which is right before the start of Fatal Attractions at 304, basically. That same virus shit is going on with the stretch between whenever 294 to there. there's a lot of dumb shit going on, actually. You have, like, a little bit of interesting fatal attractions lead in with the Forge finding the crash-landed asteroid M, that Acolyte shit going on, and Peter's kind of breaking bad. The big thing is, like, Peter's breaking bad. Colossus is, like, fed up with the bullshit, and his sister also has contracted that virus, basically, and she's, like, on death's door, and his parents get killed for some reason or another, shit to do with his brother, or not even his brother. He's there to tell them that, actually. Dude. But some other family member, I didn't really understand. Something terrible's happening. And he's, like, on the fucking brink. And he almost kills that fucking dickhead who's, like, Bishop's arch adversary. What's that guy's name?
Stygalt?
No. Doesn't matter. He almost kills that guy, and they, like, literally, the entire team is, like, holding him back. He's about to kill him. And whatever I think it's 303, actually, yeah. Because then he comes home, might be 302, and he comes home, and his sister's just died, and like they like got to break it to him. And again, it's interesting they're using Jubilee, because Jubilee's not even out adventuring, and I'm surprised at how much of an emotional crux she's providing, because they tell this through Jubilee's eyes. Like, because it happens in 302 that she dies, because in 303, it's all Jubilee, like, sitting in seclusion telling the story to Jean Grey.
Yeah.
About her experiencing the death. It's not told from the girl or Professor X and the doctor in there. It's all told from Jubilee's perspective of trying to relate to a situation she didn't think she'd be able to relate to, and how unfair she feels it is that this little girl died, and how unexpected it was for her to feel that way about it. You know what I mean? And when she's the one that kind of tells us as the reader the moment where Peter comes home and learns that his sister's died, and Professor X has to tell him this. And, like, of course, that's a very stilted delivery and da-da-da-da. And she talks about how, like, just like they kind of, like, it was an impressive storytelling tool in that they, like, cut it off too. They, like, just teased you essentially how broken Peter was about it, and their ability to kind of just cut from that and not give you really the whole moment, but it's still to emotionally land, was also like a really good job in that issue, I think, of storytelling, you know? But yeah, that was really well done, that they tell it all through Jubilee's eyes. That was a cool device to do that with. I
mean, they definitely set it up even with the way that issue looks on the cover, kind of like, if you have one comic to read this. Right. It's like, damn.
Yeah, it wasn't quite the Xavier moment, but we're talking 6 issues apart and 2 bangers that had me fucking tearing up.
They hit you up, but that's the point. Like this is just such a key moment in my X-Men fandom as a kid, because like it's leading up. There's so much with all these viruses that's really just leading up to stuff and coming up, and like the Phalanx Covenant, like you said with Asteroid M. Like there's so much cool stuff. Like in the coming few issues that this is building towards, it's like, oh yes, like it's all exciting stuff. Just like you said with Peter, like Piotr, what is he about to do? And it's so good, so good.
Yeah, I mean, because I have that inkling that he disappears, and I don't know what it is. Or if it even happens, but like obviously that he's like at this breaking point, and they're putting another thing on his shoulders that clearly is going to make him snap in some way, shape, or form. So something crazy is going to happen with that motherfucker soon. And obviously he's already like a potential bull in the china shop. The only reason he isn't like just like leveling everything at all times, like his power is so OP that like the only thing preventing him from already being like a story breaking character is like his reservedness and like incredible antithesis of that nice guy demeanor and veneer and all that. So like you take that away and turn him into something that is like not restrained in some way, like something fucking nuts is going to happen. So, they're doing a great job of building towards that for sure. And I look forward to seeing what that is. And yeah, this whole thing's going on too. And yeah, you got the X-Men Volume 2 shit going on. I'm also reading. And it's like, every time I have to switch over to that, because I'm doing them on the same month, reading this back and forth. Every time I have to switch over to this fucking book, I'm like, fuck off. Like, I can care less about everything you guys are doing over here. You got this fucking Psylocke storyline. Like, oh my god, fuck off. When she first appears as like this smoking hot outfit person, there's like, that's with X-Men and Jubilee I think maybe even in that book and however it was happening though, there's like this inkling that like the hand has control of her still and Jubilee doesn't trust her. And like, so that was like planted as a seed from the beginning. I kind of thought that had went away, you know, it felt like it had went away as a thing, but here in like the low 20s of the volume 2 book, you have that like the Betsy Braddock, the old one, the goofy looking fucking costume one that was the old Psylocke just shows up and she's pissed. And she's saying that Psylocke isn't real. And that's all right. Directly preceding that is where Psylocke's getting fucking weird as fuck about trying to bang Cyclops, right? And like, yeah, I mean that, you know, where she just makes out with him, like basically right in front of fucking Jean Grey. I was like, what in the fuck? And like, there's all this shit too. Like, you know, when before that even happens, like Cyclops is such a fucking putz that like, he is just like, you know, like they started it as like, again, just one of those like, chill at the fucking, it might have been in that chill at the house day after Executioner song. I can't fucking remember, but like, they're just like chilling at the pool at the fucking house. And like, he sees Psylocke and there's like this fucking vacation shot of the girl getting out of the pool, you know? And like, it's Psylocke in fucking a bathing suit and Cyclops is just like shook by how hot she is, you know? And he like,
as is every other 12-year-old.
Right, of course, but like, yeah, exactly. You're just like the reader speaking through Cyclops, but like, Cyclops is supposed to be the leader. He's got Jean Grey right there. Like, it's just lame that he's like just muttering to himself in rooms and shit about it. He just can't, he's like watching out the windows all creepy and shit. Like, just, it's like a weird ass implementation of this idea. And yeah, I think you could have done with any other character and it would have been more interesting. I guess not, because you don't have Jean Grey as like the reason that it's interesting, perhaps. But yeah, all of it's been so fucking weird and it just makes me hate Cyclops more and more every fucking time it comes up, because he's just so unable to like do adult things and like just be a fucking well-rounded normal human being about something. He's just like constantly brooding in some way, shape, or form, whether it be about his kid and the choice he had to make there, or about his inability to just deal with how hot Psylocke is. It's just like, you know, it's like he just can't fucking process any kind of emotion and just deal with like a fucking man. He's like constantly whatever, I don't know, fucking
life is
just,
a
again,
constant struggle for him.
just brooding. Yeah. So yeah, this one, all of it. I mean, there's like you have a little bit of Wolverine history shit where he finds out that Professor X knows more about him than Professor X has told him, and he finds it. He's like what I would call doing computer stuff. He's like fucking with a computer, and that's how he finds this file, you know, that he gets pissed off at Professor X about it. And just like they're like trying to put Wolverine in as like a tech hacker moment was just really fucking goofy and felt as poorly executed as I suppose it probably should. But that was really funny to me. And Professor X is just like, I haven't told you because I haven't read the whole file, basically, you know. And they kind of like are planning to find out more for him. So I'm sure that will pay off down the road to some degree or another, but they haven't done it yet. And they kind of like, they did that moment and then they kind of stepped away from it for this Betsy Braddock shit and the lead up to Fatal Attractions. So they kind of didn't really pay that off at all, which is annoying. And then I know Amy went back home in December and brought back physical issues that she found of her brother's, issues 30 and 31 of volume 2, basically. So I'm going to be able to read those hard copy. She just showed up with them. But nice. 30 is Jean Grey and Cyclops getting married. So in 7 issues from this Psylocke fucking thing happening, he's going to marry Jean Grey, which is fucking hilarious to me, seeing that on the cover. So that's funny. But whatever. That's comic books, I suppose.